Tonight on News Center Now, how the town of Norridgewock is honoring their sheriff's deputy 1 year after his death, from the big things to the small.
Plus, have you ever wondered what goes into inspecting a commercial vehicle? Well, Maine State Police are giving us a behind-the-scenes look.
Plus, it's the most successful film franchise in Hollywood history, but are you going to see it? Grab your phone and join the conversation. This is News Center Now.
In the town of Norridgewock, today is officially Corporal Eugene Cole Day. Good evening, I'm Keith Carson.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. This day is dedicated to remember the service of the fallen deputy. Chris Costa is in Norridgewock tonight live, and Chris, events today were pretty low-key.
Lee and Lindsay, Corporal Cole's wife and daughter spent part of their morning giving back to the town that has embraced them during this very difficult year. The town manager says in the past 365 days, he's noticed a change in the town of Norridgewock, a new identity brought out by the man they call Norridgewock's deputy.
It's so easy just to make it such a dark day, as it was a year ago and the days that followed.
The past year has been a test of this town's strength.
And it's not too often that you hear of a murder in a small Maine town.
The murder of the man who protected everyone here until his last breath. The town manager says this bedroom community awakened.
And when something like this happens, it brings out the best in everybody.
From the big things to the little.
We brought some food.
Yeah, some good stuff.
Together they collected 14 boxes.
This small group from the Quimby Center giving a large gift.
This thing is heavier than a lug knot. I brought some soap, shampoo, and conditioner.
Why did we do that?
For a random act of kindness.
Those kind of things that you always thought and hoped were there, they've really come to.
The kindness that has embraced Corporal Eugene Cole's family.
High five, guys. You did an awesome job.
If Gene were here, I'm sure he's looking down and he's proud with what they've done and how they've carried themselves through the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Say thank you.
There you go, buddy.
It took a very dark moment to bring out some of the brightest that Norridgewock has.
Thank you.
All right.
The Sheriff's Department also honored Corporal Cole earlier this afternoon at 1:12 p.m. with a moment of silence. In military time, that's 1312, which is Corporal Cole's badge number. The Somerset County Sheriff's Department and Sheriff Dale Lancaster asked everybody to pause and remember this fallen deputy who they say was senselessly taken away.
Corporal Cole was an inspiration to many and will never be forgotten. Clear the signal 1000. Somerset clear.
In the past 12 months, there have been so many different dedications to Corporal Eugene Cole here in Norridgewock, from the bridge over there with his name 6 months ago to this bench installed in Usula Park just earlier this week by Franklin County Sheriff's deputies. There have been so many other things, including the food drive from earlier today, a half marathon named after Corporal Eugene Cole, and there are more memorials scheduled for mid-May in Washington, D.C. and Augusta. We'll talk more about those coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Keith and Lindsay.
All right, Chris, thanks so much for that coverage. And yes, of course, much more at our website and mobile app as well. Everywhere you went today, people are talking about the same thing, the weather and how finally some sun out there.
Now, admittedly, I was man-tanning down in South Carolina the past couple of days. However, I was aware of the fact that we hadn't seen sun in a while. So today felt good. Don't get used to it, though.
Exactly.
It's just not going to be our pattern going forward. Here's a look at the satellite, and it's funny, Lindsay's right. It was sunny to start, and then it clouded up a little bit through the middle of the day, and everyone was getting pretty upset about that because this was supposed to be our day, and then it cleared back up, especially over southern and central Maine. And the rest of today will be clear and into tonight as well. Current temperatures in the upper 50s in Lewiston, 63 in Fryeburg is the warm spot. Areas that did not break out of the cloud cover, though, stayed in the 40s today. Greenville and Caribou at at 44 and 45 respectively. All right, here's our next storm system. It's actually 1-2 like this, but it's going to merge together into one larger storm system and move towards us tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night, and probably at least through the first half of Saturday. We'll be looking at rain then as well. So the rest of tonight looks good. If you want to get out, no problems there. It doesn't get overly cold tonight, but it does drop into the 30s into the mountains and across northern Maine. Tomorrow morning you might get a brief period of sunshine over central and northern Maine, and then we end up with some clouds moving in and eventually rain by tomorrow afternoon. That rain lasts through tomorrow night and at least through the first half of Saturday. I do not like the way Saturday looks. I think Sunday, though, will be at least an improvement comparatively.
All right, improvement is a good word that we like to hear around this time.
It's a tough pattern we're in. We'll talk more about it, but spring in Maine.
It's spring, exactly, and mud season. All right, well, it's been almost 1 month since Maine State Police Detective Ben Campbell was killed along 95 in Hamden when a wheel from a passing logging truck fell off and struck him after he had stopped to help a driver in the breakdown lane. The unexpected and tragic loss sparked a huge conversation at home with you guys about commercial vehicles and what goes into inspecting them.
Yeah, our Samantha York set out to get some answers for you. Sam, what'd you find out?
Yeah, guys, so I met up with the Maine State Police Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Team at their inspection station in Kittery for a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into keeping these huge vehicles safe while traveling on the highway. Now, there are 3 different levels of inspections. I got to see a level 1, which it works like this. Take a look. As the trucks file in,
Afternoon, sir. How you doing?
those within the Maine State Police Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Unit are ready to get to work.
East Baldwin, and you're going up there to pick up lumber? Yes, sir. Okay. You have your license and registration right handy with you?
Trooper Chris Rogers and others spend hours inspecting some of the largest vehicles traveling on Maine's highways.
Can I take a look at that, please? I'm getting all that information into the computer, and it will generate a report when we're all done.
Looking at things like the driver's record and how long they've been traveling, to basic functions of the vehicle.
Driver, high beam. Good. Blinker. Other one. Hazards.
Sometimes a simple walk around is enough to spot safety hazards, and other times they kick things up a notch, looking over the entire truck with a fine-tooth comb.
All his lights, air hoses, looking for any cracks in the wheel itself. Sure his doors are closed. Doesn't have a load on, otherwise we'd be checking load securement and making sure the straps are solid. Brake! Good! After completing my inspection, the only violations that I found were that your log was false on the 23rd and 24th of this month.
If any safety violation is found, it must be addressed immediately. Troopers not allowing any truck or driver back on the highway until it's fixed.
You can go park over there. The tow truck should be here any minute now and get you out of here. Okay? All right. Good luck to you.
A tedious but important process that's essential to keep our highways safe. So a huge thank you to our state troopers for bringing me out there today, showing me the ropes a little bit. And I feel like I only showed you a handful of things that they do for this level 1 because you only have so much time, obviously, for television. So there will be much more in-depth stuff for you online if you're interested to see even more about what goes into inspecting these vehicles. But it's pretty tedious. I mean, they do everything, and they're good at what they do.
Yeah,
so
it's much like commercial airplanes. There's a lot of inspections. They're very tedious, but when something goes wrong, it can be a huge deal.
Yeah,
so.
Right.
which is why they're so serious. I mean, seriously, as soon as he found out that there was something wrong with the log, he was like, sorry, you got to pull off to the side for 10 hours so they can sleep, get caught up, and then head back out to the road. So something they take very seriously.
Something to put drivers' minds at ease on those roads.
Absolutely.
Sam, thanks so much. Coming up, the number of women who drink while pregnant might be more than you think.
And it's already made a boatload of money before even being released in the U.S. We want to know what you think of Avengers Endgame. That's next. All right, it's the most successful film franchise in Hollywood history. What started with Iron Man in 2008 has evolved into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a collection of nearly 24 films totaling over $7 billion at the box office.
Endgame is the final chapter of the Avengers series, and it has already earned over $150 million in pre-sales. The big release is tonight, and the film is expected to be one of the biggest earners of all time. So we want to know if you'll be watching the movie. You can vote right now at pulse.newscentermaine.com or at the Pulse tab on our mobile app. Facebook could be facing a pretty hefty fine.
The company says that an investigation into privacy practices could cost them as much as $5 billion, or in Zuckerberg's, I think that's 5 cents. The Federal Trade Commission is looking into reports that a British consulting firm gained access to the information about millions of users without their permission. The FTC may also go after the CEO, who is Mark Zuckerberg.
Interesting, interesting. There is alarming new information about the rate of drinking among pregnant women. According to the CDC, over 11% of women reported drinking alcohol while they were pregnant between 2015 and 2017. Among those, a third engaged in binge drinking, which is having at least 4 drinks on one occasion. Drinking while pregnant can cause fetal alcohol syndrome disorders, which could result in physical, learning, and behavioral problems for the baby. Women who were not married were more likely to binge drink than women who were married.
So in order here, the Avengers, what do you think about that? I feel like the last one was just a fight scene for like 2.5 hours.
It was.
Which is cool, but
entertaining.
Yeah.
I do love the animations, and I love the special effects that they use.
And Isaac, our producer, said this next one's 3 hours plus.
What?
So, and then the Facebook thing, let's just, so your privacy is not protected on Facebook. Why are we, like, it's, don't tune in to News Center and say, why is Keith wearing a tight suit? Don't go onto Facebook and say, why is my stuff like plastered around the internet?
It's true.
It's just like part of the game at this point.
It really is true. I think the freakiest thing, and we know that this happens, but when you're in the market for something, when you're we've seen this before with brain drops, when you're shopping out cars, when you're shopping out something and the ads pop up, but maybe you're not even looking on that computer, maybe you're looking on your phone, it's all connected.
Yeah, Facebook knew I was looking for a Buick.
Yeah, that's so
which is like real embarrassing.
Yeah.
I bought it, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and those binge drinking numbers, I mean, definitely alarming there. Of course, that's from the CDC.
All right.
So yeah, we are checking in on those Pulse questions tonight. Will you be watching the Avengers Endgame in theaters? 66% of you saying no. I wonder if the weather is playing a factor tonight, because people are going to want to get out there and just enjoy that.
Aren't movie people, I don't think.
Or just wait till it comes out on DVD.
All right. Many people who have horses don't go riding in the middle of the city. Yet even fewer have traveled to where two brothers went this weekend. And you just heard it fall, so let me get it. This is new. I'm just starting this.
It's an unusual situation gaining a lot of attention. How two brothers ordered their dinner has people saying, whoa.
Blair Caldwell explains this odd story that's a little unstable.
Let me grab a Crunchwrap Supreme.
It's not a typical sight. Taco Bell, a drive-thru, and a horse.
This day we just decided to take a ride, and about an hour in, we were like, hey, I'm hungry, let's go get some food.
Let me see, you want something? Grab it, I want.
The Brown Brothers' spur-of-the-moment horsepower at the drive-thru earned them some extra attention.
What's the problem? I feel like they thought we were just kids walking up to the machine, so they didn't want to give us food at first. But then they looked out the window, and they're like, wait.
Sure enough, Carlton and Christopher got their food and kept riding. They say their city rides help train the horses for their numerous parades and parties they're a part of. Jitterbug is the star of the video.
You want something, Jitterbug?
He even has tricks.
Jitterbug, he's the most calm horse you'll ever meet. He's disciplined, he loves people, he'll come up to you, you can feed him. Actually, he'll even let you stand on the saddle, he won't move.
The Brown Brothers started riding horses when they were kids with their dad, and the love grew. So much so, they'll ride them anywhere.
Some people like to ride bikes, and we ride horses.
While they were horsing around with the video, the rest of the Toledo Horsemen's Club's mission is no joke.
It's good to show that there's more than just what you see in front of you. That you can always branch out and do other things. You can always pick up a new hobby, and you can make someone's day just by simply, you know, showing them a horse. It's therapeutic.
The Toledo Horsemen's Club seeks to give back to the city and provide joy with their horses. Carlton says videos like this are just the beginning. They want to continue to bring joy and surprises with a YouTube channel.
It's fun to see how people react to something so outrageous as this. It's great.
Despite those who may be naysayers, Carlton says they won't be reining it in anytime soon.
You gotta get those puns in there.
Do you ever think the number of puns in local news is part of the problem? Like we should probably just not do that anymore. That was a good story.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and it is weird when you see old technology in a city.
Right? I worry about the horses and the cars, crashing.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting if you had an Uber Eats situation show up to deliver you food on a horse.
It would take a long time to get there, though. I would imagine.
Yeah.
When you see those horse-drawn carriages and whatnot, it's another deal of cars trying to go around them and whatnot.
Sure.
All right, I'll do
Gotta
my
get
real
those
job.
rides in today. If you have a horse, if you
Do you have
work
any
on
puns that we
stable.
can use?
I've
No.
been thinking this
Think
whole
about
time,
it.
guys, and I'm out.
Maybe when I come back around, you'll have some good ones. Oh, you're following me. That's why you're waiting. Okay, so let's have a look outside. Today we did well. It was a nice sunny day. Lindsay was pretty psyched about it. Lindsay is a weather optimist.
Of course.
I've noticed. When it's 40 and sunny, you're good. You're happy, which is good. That's a good characteristic in Maine. 55 officially in Portland, 59 in Lewiston, 63 in Freiburg. So areas that got into more sunshine today reacted positively into the upper 50s and low 60s. You can see the visible satellite. So we started off sunny, then we got a little convective and bubbled up some clouds, and it clouded up for a little bit. Now we're back into that clear air over southern and central Maine, and that's how we'll end the day and into the evening tonight. So we're going to be clear and comfortable. Here's our next storm system. It's actually a system here, another one here. Notice they're kind of merging, congealing a bit as they get a little bit closer. So that will turn into one larger storm for us in time for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and into Saturday morning. Unfortunately, the first half, at least of Saturday, looks wet at this point. So tonight, no big problems. We start clouding up a little bit, though, over western Maine and southwestern parts of the state. Tomorrow morning around 5, 6, you can see some sunshine left over northern Maine, but most of us cloud up quickly tomorrow. And then the rain starts coming in, say, late morning over western Maine, more like afternoon over central, northern, and down east Maine. And then we just see these pockets of downpours through the evening on Friday. Kind of a nasty night Friday. Temperatures upper 30s to around 40 degrees. Heavy rainfall in there, so it's just not going to be very pleasant. And that continues through Saturday morning. You can see some of those heavier downpours in there. Saturday afternoon, we might be able to clear out, but I'm not super optimistic that that means we'll see sun. It may just be that the rain ends on Saturday afternoon. Then Sunday, the first half of the day looks really nice. Clouds increase on Sunday afternoon and a couple more showers on Sunday night. So total rainfall amounts for Friday night through Saturday, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, which shouldn't do big flooding problems, but there will be some additional river flooding in those areas that saw moderate flooding last time. Here's the snowpack shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. Looking at a couple of the webcams at some of the ski areas, and it is a drastic change over a couple of weeks ago. Combination of the warm temperatures overnight especially, and the rain has reduced snowpack. The good news with that is it's a lower risk of flooding when we get rain coming down from the sky. So that's the good part of all this. All right, so the pattern over the next week does not look good, and part of the problem here is we're just jammed up on the jet stream. So the current of air that moves storms across the country is just pulling these storms right over us. So we're kind of on the every other day plan in which it's raining every other day. So the good news is there are nice days in there. The bad news is there are not 3 or 4 of them in a row at any point. And the temperatures bore me. I don't see anything that has us, popping into the 70s like you like to see. It's kind of what it is here this time of year.
Yeah, we just got a deal.
So nothing crazy.
The grass is starting to really green up,
So
and
good.
I'm wondering if it's from all this rain.
It is. Also, pollen count high for the first time in a while.
I've heard a lot of sneezes too.
Yeah, you never know what it is around this newsroom.
You never know. All right, guys, we want to know, are you watching the Avengers Endgame being released tonight in theaters? Still 60% of you saying no. I'm willing to bet the weather's playing a huge role in that.
I'm also surprised there's only 5% are doing the watch at home, because that's kind of that's where I'm at.
Right.
I mean, I'm old and have a kid now, so this is what I do, but I'll see it, but I'm not going to wait in line to see it tonight.
And pay $10 for popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they make their money, though.
Right, it's true. A lot of good reactions to this movie coming up on our Facebook page today. Casey posting she's seeing it today and she can't wait. She's so excited. Willem says, hallelujah, Tony Stark is back on Earth and alive. Yes. And Lee adds, I'm ready for this to be the last superhero movie. Well, for parents with children getting ready to pick a college, here's something you might not have included on the checklist. Make sure they pick one that isn't shutting down. It's a growing problem in New England.
The population of college-going students literally is going to fall off of a cliff.
And it really sucks that this school is shutting down.
Being forced to leave really sucks because that's not something that I would have ever chosen, or a lot of the people who are left there right now would have ever chosen.
Why is this happening? What do you do at that point?
You can see Chris Costa's whole story on the college closure problem tonight at News Center at 6 o'clock.
And for News Center Maine at 5:30, Cindy Williams is here with a preview of that. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. We're going to have more from Norridge Walk, of course, on the day of remembrance for Corporal Eugene Cole, who died a year ago. And we're also going to update the case against his accused killer. Plus, it is official now. Joe Biden jumps into the already crowded race for the Democratic nomination for president. Those stories and much more ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, Cindy, thanks so much.
Sure thing.
And we will have brain drops when we come back.
Or me, that's what we need right now.
All right, 59% of you saying you will not be watching the Avengers Endgame in theaters tonight. Thanks for voting in our Pulse poll.
Not movie watchers. All right, every so often, we have someone ask if they can buy a News Center Maine coffee mug or some sort of merchandise. I don't know how
we get that
often
question
is.
a lot. We do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
you can.
The answer was always no until now, exactly. We have the News Center Maine store at our website. You can buy coffee mugs, a 207 apron, some of the most requested items from you guys. So to find it, click on the 3-bar menu at the top left of our website, click on Connect, scroll down to News Center Maine store, and shop away.
All right, we have actually the Joe Cupo, Kevin Mannix, and Todd Guttner shirtless mug. It's special edition. You have to find it. It's a little deeper in the archive there. Let's go to brain drops. This is a really short one, but I really found this interesting. It kind of, I've heard this, I guess, but
sure.
So if you look at the 3 tallest mountains based on how they're measured, so Everest, everybody knows, that's by altitude from sea level. Okay. But we've got one in Hawaii and one in Ecuador that, if measured differently, so it's the total height from the seabed to the top. Hawaii's mountain will be the highest, and then the farthest from the center of the Earth, so pure altitude, is the one in Ecuador, because the Earth bulges at the equators. So that gives you an extra, I forget what it is, I want to say it's 10 to 15 miles of extra bulge out there, so you're gaining extra elevation. So I thought that was interesting, like based on how you look at it, Everest is not the tallest mountain.
Interesting. Sounds like we got to be rewriting some Wikipedia pages here.
Yeah, I think that's been edited a few times. I think the Hawaii one's interesting because it's got snow in Hawaii. So.
Exactly.
All right.
News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.